The Brandon Peters Show may contain explicit language and detailed plot points. For more information on the show, stay tuned to the end of the episode. And now, here he is, Brandon.
Welcome back to the Brandon Peters Show for a brief excursion back to the horrors of Val Lewton retrospective, our once-a-month look at the horror output from the legendary producer. Joining me, as always, author of Silent Scream, Red, White, and Who, and programmer of Chicago TARDIS, Stephen Warren Hill.
Hello.
Good day, sir. It's been a moment. We are now moving toward the year 1944. Well, no, we are in 44, but we were stuck in 1943 for quite some time. And moving to a sequel here, where which we had a character come back, but now we have a honest to God sequel here to a movie. The movie today, which we're talking about, is The Curse of the Cat People.
Do you know why I came to you, Amy? Because you called to me. And I came. So that your childhood could be bright and full of friendliness. But you must promise never to tell anyone about me.
Not even Daddy or Mommy?
No. This must be a friendship that only we shall have.
Why, Daddy, you know my friend, too.
You couldn't know this woman. She died before you were born.
Oliver, please, let's not go on with this. The child's trembling. If that child comes here again, I'll kill her. Yes, I'll kill her.
Mrs. Farrell! Mrs. Farrell! Mrs. Farrell!
Oh, little girl! I have to hide you. I'll have to hide you, little girl. My little girl is in her room, waiting to kill you. We mustn't let her find you.
Directed by Gunther von Frisch, but he did not get to finish the film. He was let go and replaced by the legendary Robert Wise, making his debut. The Frisch was making his debut as well. Written again by DeWitt Bodine, starring Simone, Kent Smith, Jane Randolph, and Carter Eve March, Julia Dean, Elizabeth Russell, Urford Gage, and Sir Lancelot. Once again, composed by Roy Webb and shot by Nicholas Musaraka. This is about a young, lonely girl who lives in a dream world with her father's dead first wife as a playmate. This is a Val Lewton did not want this movie to be called Cat People, although it returned some characters. He was hoping to have the title Amy and Her Friend, but RKO said, no, you're putting Cat People in the title. And while we may have returning cast members, we also have a return of the Magnificent Amberson sets once again, making another turn here. And then the studio execs apparently were unhappy with early cuts of this film and demanded some reshoots and added scenes, as the film also went over budget and over time. Yeah, I'll stop there, and we'll, Stephen, we'll let you take this off. Curse of the Cat.
So, Gunther von Frisch, when they reached the end of the shooting schedule, when they should have been done, he was only halfway done. So get out of there. And Robert Wise was, of course, already an accomplished editor by that point, and jumped in and took over and had a long and outstanding career afterwards. Curse of the Cat People. So today's earlier today, I watched it, and that was my 12th time seeing it. This movie is just about misses my top 10 movies of all time.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So this movie, this is a 9.9 or a 99 out of 100. It's currently in my ranking. It's currently number 11.
Oh, okay.
So just misses out of the top 10. There are so many reasons why I admire this movie. And I'll try to put into words all of those reasons while we chat here. Setting aside the obvious, it's a Val Lewton film. It's one of his series. It's a sequel to Cat People, and all of that. It's got a unique perspective on, well, we'll just say it's not really a horror film, is it?
There is, and yes and no, I think is proper. But yes, continue.
Yeah, I there is what seems to be a token effort to elicit some suspense and fear out of certain scenes, but it's all really just a matter of perception in the end. It's not, nobody turns into a leopard or a cat in this movie. Nobody kills anybody in this movie. It's even at the end of the film, when we wonder if the older lady's daughter is actually going to kill the girl, as she has already vowed to kill her, and she's about to strangle her, or apparently looks like. Even then, we know it's not really going to happen, and it doesn't. And yet those moments, there are 4 or 5 of those moments in the movie. I didn't really actually count them. I just said that, where the suspense is ramped up for that reason. But ultimately, it's not a suspense film. It's not a horror film. It's a fantasy film. Because the ghost is seen, it becomes a fantasy film. If they never showed her, then I would just say it's a drama. I mean, because then you don't have any kind of a supernatural element. But we see Simone. We see her, and even though, well, we know she is the ghost of Oliver Reed's first wife from the first movie. Oliver has married Alice, is his co-worker from the first movie now. And
happy that worked out.
Yeah. And Amy is the 5-year-old daughter, 6 years old, shortly after the movie starts, because she does have a 6th birthday party that nobody goes up to. Daughter of Oliver and Alice. She's not the daughter of Irena, Simone's character. So the thing is, the way this story goes, and I don't really do plot recaps too much, but she she's described by her teacher as a little different. And oh boy, are we going to get into that. But right now, I'm going to just leave it there. Um, she doesn't have a lot of friends. It's not that she's a social misfit. Um, she just seems to have trouble making friends or keeping friends, really. And for various reasons, some of which we see in the movie, many of which we don't. Um, so she wishes for a friend, and her wish comes true when the ghost of her father's first wife, whom she knows nothing about, shows up and becomes her friend. Um, boy, Val Lewton's movies are tackling topics that people didn't realize they were like when we talked about The Leopard Man.
Mm-hmm.
That's a movie about a serial killer when the term serial killer wasn't even coined yet.
Right.
And so, it's one of the earliest movies about a serial killer. There are earlier ones, yes, but that's one of the early ones. Mm-hmm. This movie is talking about child psychology in terms that audiences would understand at a level of, just think of where child psychology must have been in 1944 or 1943.
Right.
Not very well developed. In fact, we're still learning an awful lot now.
Mm-hmm.
But just think about how what we know now could inform this movie, this story, and explain a lot of her behavior away.
Yeah. I have a question. I had a note I noted down here that I'm like, is this potentially the prototype for like the creepy kid type of movie? That I know The Bad Seed from 1956 is generally considered like the original, but like I know we're not calling it, saying not a horror movie, but elements of like the troubled child thing that, this wouldn't be the creepy kid movie, but it has elements that someone could take and be like, ooh, but what if the kid was evil? Or what if the kid was, like I feel like there's some of that base present here.
That could be a thing. I honestly hadn't thought of it that way, but it could be. And probably the only reason I haven't thought of it that way is because she's not evil, and she's
right.
always on her best behavior. I mean, people would die to have a kid this good, right?
Right.
I think,
but she needs to play with the other children, damn it.
Oh my God. So let's get in on I'm gonna go out on a limb, and I don't really think this, but I'm gonna say that I do. Oliver Reed is the bad guy in this movie.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
So her father, so the movie opens where we're shown she's daydreaming, and the other kids don't like that. She's daydreaming again, and Amy runs off because she sees a butterfly and she wants to chase it because it's a beautiful thing, and she wants the butterfly to be her friend. And another kid, a boy, catches the butterfly in his cap, and of course, not very carefully, and smashes it while capturing it. And Amy slaps him across the face because the boy killed the butterfly. All he wanted to do was be helpful and nice to her, but he just didn't do it with care. So she gets in trouble because she slapped another student, but she's already being singled out in that scene by the teacher. Amy's a little bit different. Okay, she's not paying attention to the game that they're all playing, and then she runs off on her own. So we get to the next scene, which is her teacher having a conference with Oliver and Alice about Amy, and uh, the teacher clearly understands a lot more about child psychology than either parent does. Mom seems to understand more than Oliver does. Oliver takes a hardline approach because, and to be fair, he's got a legit reason. His first wife turned into a cat and killed herself.
Well, yeah.
So, um, he's just fixated on the thought that Amy, if Amy exercises her imagination, that she's going to somehow end up the same way that Irena did, because he thinks that it was all in her mind too, even though we as movie viewers know that that wasn't the case. We saw it with our eyes. He didn't. So here's your movie evidence of what happens when you try to tell a child who's just turning 6 not to have an imagination and not to daydream or be creative or anything. That is just not going to work.
No.
That is not going to work. And
I'm going to imagine harder now.
right. And then, not long after that, they're waiting for the people to arrive to her 6th birthday party, and nobody's showing up. And they ask Sir Lancelot where the invitation did you mail the invitations? Well, to be honest, Amy wanted to do that herself, so I let her do it. Okay, so they go to Amy. What did you do with the invitations to the party? I mailed them. Can you show me where you mailed them? Yeah, I'll show you right back here in the backyard. They have a tree in the backyard with a hole in, in the tree trunk. And Oliver goes, you must have been only 3 years. How could you remember that? You must have been only 3 years old when I told you that tree was a magic mailbox. Now the message he's sending to her is, because he tells her outright, that was just a story. That wasn't real. It's not a real mailbox. And okay, now you've just told your kid not to use your imagination.
Right.
And now you're saying 3 years ago you told her this crazy story that the tree was a magic mailbox, and she remembered and believed it. And now you're yelling at her for believing it. It's what a mess of messages. This guy is just so confused about parenting. I'm not a parent. I admit, I don't know that I would do any better, but he's so contradictory every step of the way. And gets angry at her for not making friends with the other. Well, you know what? It's your fault, dude. You ruined it. It's not Amy's fault. You didn't know you ruined it 3 years ago when you told her it was a magic mailbox, but you did. Wow. He later on in the movie he spanks her. He's bad enough that I'm going to call him a villain in this movie. He's a good guy. He's trying for the best, but he's just messing her up entirely. And that is, she needs that imaginary friends, and the real imaginary friend, Raina, who actually does show up to her.
Yeah.
And then he lies to her at the very end of the movie when they're about to go in the house, and he asks Amy the very last scene, "Do you see her in the garden now?" And she looks, and she's there. She says, "Yeah, I see her." And Oliver says, "I see her too, honey." And they go in the house, and everything's happy. But he's lying to her again. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, there's
The
so much wrong.
psychological damage this guy has put on his first wife and his first child.
And So this viewing, I noticed that the teacher at the beginning of the movie, she's meeting the parents for the first time.
Hmm.
Um, she shows up at their house many more times during the course of the movie. It's not a very long movie,
Yeah.
and she's in their house visiting. Like, she becomes their best friend, and we don't even notice it because all of a sudden she's there all the time.
Hmm.
Thankfully, because she's a better influence than Dad is. But uh, going on to another topic, I also consider this to be a Christmas movie.
Yep, it happens.
So
Yeah.
when people say, "What's your favorite Christmas movie?" I tell them The Curse of the Cat People is my favorite Christmas movie. There's a scene set at Christmas. There's Christmas carolers that stop by and they get invited in the house and they sing another song. And there's a discussion on when is it best to open presents? Do you open them on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day? And one of Amy's little girlfriends says, "We open ours on Christmas Eve. That's considered proper." And she remembers that because that comes up a little bit later in the movie too.
Yeah.
So this is a Christmas movie.
I count it. I'm gonna throw it in the wheelhouse now. That I always people are so like I remember when my we were having our first child and my wife and I had to go to some practice thing at the hospital with group. It was like a group thing, and like they were like, "Let's break the ice here," because it was probably in like December. I think we did that because my son was born in February. And they're like, "What's your name a favorite Christmas movie?" And I just said, I was like, "Oh, Gremlins," and I got argued about how it's not. I'm like, it's literally about a Christmas present
Yeah.
gone wrong. It's like there's no art like.
Yeah.
No, I'm like, back up. I was like, no. And they had all these people thinking like they were edgy. And I like this movie a lot too. But they were like, we're kind of weird. We like, uh, they were like, we're kind of weird. We like Christmas Vacation. I'm like, everybody likes Christmas Vacation. You're not fucking weird. You're not weird. Just stop. So, but I got flack for Gremlins. And I was like, it's literally about the the present a father gives to his son at Christmas. It gives him it early because he can't keep it. But like, oh, people. Anyway,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's just like when people try to argue that Die Hard is, and I'm like, his wife's name Holly. Like, what are you like? It's cleverly there that they want to embracing the spirit of Christmas. Come on, folks. Curse the Cat People is definitely a Christmas movie. So if people ever give you flack about that, send them my way, Stephen.
There you go.
I know you can defend yourself, but I'll take them down for you too.
All right. All right. Elizabeth Russell shows up in this movie as the daughter of Mrs. Farron.
Farron, yep,
So
yeah,
we need to
Julia.
talk about her a little bit. She Amy befriends adults just as easily, maybe even easier than she befriends children.
She befriends someone on the very polar opposite of her age range. That's pretty much what works. Yeah.
And Mrs. Farron is a woman who she's a shut-in, but she was some kind of a performer.
Mhm.
And she loves telling stories, and she's probably been craving attention, an audience. And because Amy stops outside her house when all of the other little girls run past because it's the witch's house,
Right.
old house. But yeah, she gets enticed in because an old woman throws a ring out of the window, and because mom thinks it's not a good thing. She tells Amy to return the ring.
Mm-hmm.
So she absolutely does as she is told, and goes back to the house. And that's when we meet Mrs. Farron for the first time. Now, also in Mrs. Farron's house is Barbara Farron,
Yep.
Mrs. Farron's daughter, who Mrs. Farron maintains a belief that her daughter Barbara died when she was little. So this movie is also touching on, apparently, or seems to be, touching on dementia or Alzheimer's, maybe,
Mm-hmm.
or something. So it is described um, towards the end of the movie. Elizabeth Russell says, "No, no, you were out of your mind." At when this accident happened, where she thought she was killed, but she's
Mm-hmm.
fine. I am your daughter. I've been with you. I'm caring for you all your life. And can you imagine how that must be
Mm-hmm.
to to be in that kind of situation? It's a little unrealistic, I understand, but just think of that for a moment, and to be caring for your mother your whole life, and your mother denying your existence, and you're just a caretaker, and you're
Right.
really my daughter. Um, People go through that in real life because of things like Alzheimer's.
Mm-hmm.
So this is another thing that Val Lewton's movies are touching on, that seemingly earlier than most pop culture um, properties. So um, we feel for Elizabeth Russell's character. We don't quite. I don't think we'll ever quite understand why she vows to kill Amy,
Right. Yeah. That's
but I don't think we also buy that she's going to kill Amy either.
I think it's more of a we're getting that from the perspective of the child type
Yeah,
thing, so it seems more intense and vile to us than what the actual situation probably is.
yes, yes. Um, and you just hit on something that I wanted to mention too. And one of the reasons, one of the properties that this movie has that make me like it so much.
Hmm.
I love movies that tell stories from a child's perspective, trying to understand the world of adults.
Yeah.
And this movie is very much that. There are many other movies that are like that. Carol Reed's I think it was a movie he did right before. Ah, I am so blanking now.
Hmm.
It's a boy who worships his family's butler, I think, and then he thinks that the butler may have committed murder, and this destroys his. I can't think
Is
of
it
that.
The Fallen Idol?
Yes, the Fallen Idol. That's what it
Okay.
is. Yeah. Um, great movie, and also another one of those, because adults, in trying to protect their children, they confuse them, right?
Hmm.
Because we're not going to tell you certain things because you're too young to understand.
Right.
So we hide bits of it or certain things that just confuse kids even worse. And that story, that kind of story where we have something with that as the foundation. I love movies like that. So this is another one just like that. Um, she is just trying to understand many things around her, including why is her dad telling her not to be imaginative. um
Well, and her imaginary friend too. It's interesting that it's an adult, not a child. Um,
yeah,
and it's an adult that gives her attention, that appreciates the things she does, and makes it okay, and that's what she's seeking, not the like, the companionship of the other children. And maybe that
Yeah.
she's seeking, if my parents or the adults think it's okay, then I'm cool to venture out with the children. But it's interesting that her, imaginary friend is an adult and not another
Mhm.
child.
And her relationship with the housekeeper, Sir Lancelot,
Mm-hmm.
is, they are friends. They care for each other very clearly.
Mm-hmm.
But so they have she has a better relationship with him
Yeah.
than with her parents, either of her parents. It's, and again, the movie ends with Dad saying, "You and I are going to be friends from now on."
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you you got to work both ways at this, man. You get
Right.
just saying that isn't going to change her.
We'll never know because they never made Revenge of the Cat People.
Right, right.
Or the,
Um,
the Cat People walks among us.
so I just this movie has a lot of layers to it, a lot of, and some of it maybe it just touches on here and there, but I think there's so much to discover in this film, and if you just kind of, if you're just seeing it for the first time, even though it's a short film, you probably won't be able to dig deeply into it.
Yeah.
So watch it a few times if you haven't seen it before. Um, and if you have, every time I watch it, I spot something new and learn to appreciate it even more. So
It
I
is
say that.
definitely it's one that rises in esteem on rewatch. I remember the first time I saw it, I saw it maybe, I say 10 to 15 years ago, somewhere in that range. And I was kind of like, yeah. I was like, oh, okay. It was one of those, I didn't realize there was like sequel or whatever. And I watched it and it's kind of like, oh, okay. And then like, I watched it like standalone on its own. And I was like, huh, there's something really here. And this time I recently watched it. It's probably, yeah, I've seen it. So this is like the third time. I saw something in it that I hadn't seen before, and then the days after, I kept thinking about the movie, and then thinking and like connecting other things, and I'm like, holy crap, I think we have a really special movie on our hands here, that just doesn't make itself apparent in your first viewing for some reason, and I think it's because it's the sequel to a movie, and not like a traditional sequel in a sense. And I put in my notes, I see some Exorcist 2 here, and I don't. And what I mean by that is The Exorcist 2 is a sequel that's like, well, we're not interested in doing what happened the first time again, and we're interested in doing something completely new, different, taking it in this other, and just following, what happens to Reagan after this.
Yep.
And this is even in more sense like, hey, these people aren't going to go their whole lives and like, oh, the cat people are back again. Um, it's a creative touch to make the imaginary friend Arena an interesting way, and she's even better here than she is in Cat People, I think. But it's just like we got more of these people's lives, and it's actually a very personal film for Lewton as well. As I've read that a lot of this is based off his own childhood, and then his own instances of being a father to his child. So there's a lot of his favorite things that get touched, like poems and things that show up in here, instances that are like his childlike things. So, so I was really just this. There's Alice in Wonderland's a real easy
Yeah.
thing to point at here, and I have seen where the film is compared to Disney fairy tales and Jean Cocteau's La Belle et la Bête or Beauty and the Beast. But when I'm watching, there were moments in here, and I was like, "This is Suspiria right here." Like when she first goes to Julia's house, I totally got the way camera angles, movements, the way they were presenting the discovery and going in this this mysterious old woman, and then you have the daughter that's just kind of like, what are you doing, doing around here? I was getting mad Suspiria vibes. I was also getting a lot of Pan's Labyrinth
Oh,
from this as well, especially with the imaginary friend going to getting the ring from the house and all this stuff. I'm like, that's got to be an influence on both Del Toro and Argento and
mm,
probably other filmmakers from this as well. But this is just, and we say not horror, but like it's very grim fairy tale esque in some areas, though nothing. Well, I mean, Julia does die of a heart attack in here, but nothing menacing really happens. I think there is an air of menace because you're watching a movie called The Curse of the Cat People, and it's from Val Lewton. So there's this false menace
yeah.
put on your expectation watching it. But it does have a fairy tale and there's like a childlike wonder here to this movie. And it's got beautiful scenes of like early in the film we have leaves falling and then like snow falling, which feel like a new effect for a Val Lewton movie. Like it's like, ooh, they got, they're putting in weather
Uh,
with this thing. So
the lighting changes are really beautiful in this.
yeah, it's taking I mean, granted, I mean, I don't know how much is Robert Wise here, how much is British, but it's working, and there's definitely now that we've been through 2.5 directors, I guess. Well, or we don't have a full one here, but there's definitely a thing that Val Lewton's like, hey, you're gonna come in, film's probably gonna look like this, but you have the same sandbox as everybody else. What are you gonna what's yours gonna wind up
Yeah.
looking like? And this just it feels like a jump above what's come before, even to
Mm.
a degree, with its appearance. And I mean, we're using sets and stuff that we probably saw in Cat People, but they don't feel. It's not like, there's that again, But
Yeah.
um, it definitely has this like look to it, and it definitely get that magical feeling that it's hard to get
Oh
anywhere
yeah.
else. Like, and it definitely that's where the Bella Labette come from. Like, it's like, ooh, there's that. Yeah, Cocteau. Cocteau is like a master of doing like really cool stuff in camera
Mm.
effects. That's just like, wow. Or Faye is like a favorite film of mine, and I'm always just like blown away by what that film has done, and being from the time it's at with the limited tools it is, and uh what Cocteau can do, and be like, like modern stuff can't capture the feeling of that film, no matter how advanced tech is. It's never as good as what he went through on that. But like, and I feel like that's with this movie too. There's a little that magical sense, and it's this
Mm.
just really a treasure here. And I wouldn't have said that the first time I saw it at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this time has been just quite a leap
Mm.
up for me, seeing it this time for sure.
Um, you covered a lot of ground there. I
Yeah,
wanna
yeah, but it's just like, yeah,
I want I want to latch back onto
yeah,
Exorcist 2 because
yeah.
that's a really smart observation, I think, because
Mhm.
Reagan's character in that movie, she's we're exploring how this traumatic experience, after she seemed to be fine
Mhm.
after it was over, how it really did affect her and is still affecting her. Um, and Curse of the Cat People is it's similar, not quite
Mhm.
the same, because these traumatic experiences from the first movie didn't happen to Amy,
Mhm.
but Dad thinks that they're going to somehow manifest in Amy.
Yeah.
So you make that leap and you're really doing the same thing then. It's and but he's not doing it in any scientific way.
Right.
He's just throwing a bunch of contradictory rules at her and letting her break the rules because she can't make sense out of those rules. So she's
Mhm.
inevitably gonna break them. Um, Yeah, very interesting. So, I have an Ann Carter story that I need to tell.
Oh, sure.
Um, when I was working on, and before I was working on my Silver Scream books, um, I in the early 2000s, if you tried to look up information on Ann Carter,
Hmm.
you would either find nothing about her, what happened to her, or you might find a note that said she died in a car crash, um, without much supporting information. I can't remember if I told the story about um, how I met Fay Ray, um, by creating a website dedicated to Fay Ray and leaving my address and phone number at the bottom of the webpage, and suddenly getting a phone call from Fay Ray. uh, Early days of the web were fun.
Hey, that's like my friend Ming Chen. He has his career now because he made I think he made a fan site for Kevin Smith, and Kevin Smith liked him. Like, why don't you do my stuff? And like
Oh, yeah.
comic book men, all that stuff. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. So I thought, hey, if it worked once, who knows? I created a website for Ann Carter. And one day I got an email, from somebody, uh, saying it was a little bit hard to understand, and it was cryptic, and it was short, and I think it was in all caps. Um, and it had something to do with Ann Carter. Clearly, I tried to find that email. I know I have it archived somewhere, but I can't find it easily right now. Um, and so I emailed this person back, and I think if I remember right, the initial email, because I had put on the website something about allegedly, or according to some sources, she died in a car crash. I
Hmm.
think the email said, no, she didn't die in a car crash. She lives in Seattle or something like that.
Oh, okay.
So I emailed back, and I think essentially I said, how do you know? And the answer came back, because I'm married to her.
Oh.
Okay. So I continued on this exchange and arranged to have a phone call with her. And I have a recording of that phone call. I honestly, going into the call, I was not fully convinced that it really actually was her, but during the call, from some things that she said, I knew that absolutely was her. There was no mistake.
Hmm.
Um, and so I took that opportunity to interview her, on that call, and established some enough credibility there that I was, in no way was I, still wondering if it was legit or not. And then because many people had been searching for her for years,
Mm-hmm.
I sent an email to Tom Weaver. Do you know who Tom Weaver is? He's a uh, his film historian. He does a lot these days. He does a lot of audio commentaries on discs
Oh,
for,
okay.
like,
Yeah,
for
yeah,
Kino
yeah. Okay.
Lorber. And
Gotcha.
for a long time, he did a lot of books full of interviews with actors, from the movies of the 40s. And he was never able to track down what happened to Ann Carter.
Mm-hmm.
I sent him an email saying, I have Ann Carter's contact information. Here it is. I know you know what to do with it. Go for it. Sure enough, he got in touch and did interviews. They Video Watchdog magazine came out with an issue entirely devoted to Ann Carter. It was a
Wow.
special Ann Carter issue.
Okay.
She appeared in the documentary then that they I think they had just started working. In fact, I think I told her, that they were working on it. when I talked to her. I only ever talked to her once, but I think I told her that they were working on it, and she was going to see if she could get in on it somehow. And she did end up in the documentary that's on the DVD box set.
Okay.
It shows up on one of the Blu-rays, I think. Um, so all of this uh, came out of I was the first one
This is
that
crazy. Okay, yeah.
was reached out to,
Yeah.
so to speak. And I knew getting that information to Tom Weaver would be the right step
Yeah.
to make, because I was in no way, you know, capable of handling like that level
Right, right.
scheme there. So, give it to him. I knew he would be able to take it from there. And so now I'm claiming credit because I don't think
There you go.
ever got credit. She's no longer alive now.
Hmm.
But she had 3 kids, and at the time a couple of grandkids. So
Gotcha.
her family continues on. Um, and I just sort of, when I was developing the website and then having this opportunity to meet her on the phone, I became a really big fan, and I've scoured the world for copies of all of her movies. There's one or two that I can't find, I think, um,
Gotcha.
but I have all of her movies, and just became a big admirer of her work. And she was really a terrific actress, and disappeared after her last film appearance as a teenager because she contracted polio.
Oh, whoa. Okay.
She survived, and made it through, and had a great life as a school teacher, but she quit acting after that. That stopped her. But she could have had a fantastic career because
Yeah.
she was such a down to earth, matter of fact kind of a performer, and really reacted well to direction, and everything was really working for her. It's a shame that happened, but everything happens, from what I hear, for a reason. So
Yeah. That's a great story.
yeah.
Yeah, it's always like, and it's always gotta be like when like someone reaches out to you like that kind of creepy, like, wait, what?
Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Someone, she's alive. I'm married to her. Like, oh, you scouring the internet for your wife or what? Like,
Well,
okay.
I mean, the internet was relatively new, and I knew that this was absolutely in my head, was like,
Mm-hmm.
some people are going to be searching their name on the internet, see what are people saying about me.
Yeah.
I was an actress, so many years ago, and there must be something. Oh my gosh, what, I was killed in a car crash. What?
Right. Yeah. That's crazy. That's like reminds me of didn't happen with the internet, but like Mark Patton, who is the star of Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Freddy's Revenge, after doing that movie, he just disappeared. And
Hmm.
like they everybody's like, what happened to that guy? He did a Robert Altman film, and then he did that, and then like he disappeared, and then they were making the Never Sleep Again documentary, and they hired a private investigator, and they found him in like Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, and he was an owner of an art gallery. And he came back and told his story. He just, he was an openly gay man. Hollywood was trying to keep him in the closet. He did not like that. He was having bad experiences. And just with that, and he was like, "Screw it! I'm just gonna go be myself where I can." And had a very good life.
Yeah.
He's an HIV survivor, um, but he's even, I mean, he's gone on to make a documentary about his perspective
Hmm.
of it. He got to tell a bit of it in Never Sleep Again, but like he got to make a documentary where he really went at it, and like the movie has a lot of gay innuendo and stuff like that. And they denied it for years, and he confronts the writer like, dude, you threw that stuff in the script. It wasn't me. Like me and the other gay people on set, we knew what was going on. We just kind of let people make those decisions and let things happen. But stuff like that. And Mark's a really good guy. I met him because like he showed up at a convention one time, and that actually got me to go to a convention. Was the Mark Patton
Hmm.
was there? I'm like, I gotta find out. Like that guy. Like my sister and I went. We met. We talked to him for like an hour. We exchanged like Facebook stuff, and he like would like message us on like our birthdays and stuff for years, being like, "Happy birthday!" To us. Okay. But we got his story from there before we even saw the documentary. So, but it was really cool. He's got very like cool uncle vibes. That's
Oh, yeah.
that's what Mark Patton has. But yeah, just finding out where those people went. There's so many, and I mean, back in the day of her, there's probably like hundreds of stories like that of people
Mhm.
like got like old character actors and things like that that are still waiting for their Stephen Warren Hill to make something to discover. Well, they're
Yeah.
probably not around anymore, but the relatives may want to clear the story up. But people are very vocal now about who they are related to and stuff now, so maybe it's cleaned up a bit. But that's a fantastic story. Actually, I had who else was? Oh, the star of Silent Night, Deadly Night 2. He also disappeared for a bit, but found him. He was like apparently a realtor in Los Angeles, and I wrote I did a Blu-ray review about it, and he emailed me um appreciative of my review for the Blu-ray and that I got it and all this stuff. I'm like, okay, cool. I kept that email. I still have it in my save folder. I
Yeah.
was like, holy crap. But
I
yeah.
think any actor from history who thinks that they've been forgotten,
hmm
you're probably wrong.
You're probably wrong. You at least you have like a small fan base. I've always talked, and I always used to tell my friend when I lived in Los Angeles, and I had a lot. We're all trying to make it in the entertainment, but like, I had a lot of actor friends that would like turn their nose up at like auditioning for horror movies and stuff. I'm like, dude, you do one horror movie that hits,
Yep.
you're gonna have fans for life. You'll have convention appearances for life. Like you will be. I mean, you'll
Yeah.
at least have that people will remember you from and stuff like that. It's not like, but they were, I don't know, independent production horror. I'm like, that's where stars are made. That's where, you build your following and your fandom because the horror crowd is such a good crowd.
Mhm.
They're very knowledgeable. If they want to know the like minute details, everything I'm coming off a weekend where I was just in a horror convention for 3 days and I'm like, oh, the horror people, they know their stuff. Um, but yeah, that's the thing, and like because here we are, Curse of the Cat people, um, that has dedication and people to find out like that. That's
Yeah.
very cool, very cool. Yeah, this movie, we mentioned it wasn't well received, and they double billed it with the original a lot upon its initial release, but over time it's raised in esteem, and they're even the Moving Arts Film Journal rated it in 2010 as the 35th greatest film of all time. That's yeah. And talk about people that a sequel that never comes up in the great sequels conversation too.
Right.
And it's just such I'm fascinated with it because of the approach to where are we going to pick this up at? What are we going to do?
Mhm.
Poltergeist 2. This is like if Poltergeist 2 just followed the family and trying to find a new house and there was no poltergeist
Yeah.
and the antagonist was the realtor they were disagreeing with. That's what this is. Like I mean it's not and they're put some kind of like movie spin like conflict on there, but like yeah. Um it's kind of the approach here. It's not, like, well, they did the evil ghost thing in the last one. Let's what are they going to do here? It's more the following of the family. But this one does. I mean, it does evoke horror. I think it's not full through and through, but when it wants to, it turns it up. I think a bit, especially like the end when like the stairs at the end. That's where it really with the Barbara coming up the stairs and her looking down is just like,
Yeah.
oh no, what's going on? So it's quite tense. And then you get the ghost apparating around and very cool stuff. Very, very cool effects. And yeah, I just want to know what was Robert Wise's touch? Because I would give Wise, I'm looking at the movie and stuff. I'm like, oh yeah, it's Wise. Give it all to him, but I know it's not all him for sure. I'm sure most of it
Right.
is Frisch.
Yeah, it's kind of impossible to really know.
Hmm.
I don't think it's documented. And you know, the curious thing about Robert Wise too
Hmm.
is he doesn't have a strongly identifiable signature. Like you can't watch a movie and go, "Oh, that's clearly a Robert Wise movie."
Right.
Um, I
Uh,
think maybe if you studied his films and watched, you know, every single
yeah.
one, you might be able to get that way. But it's nothing like uh, Paul Thomas Anderson or uh,
Right.
Steven Spielberg. Even it's nothing like Hitchcock or a director who's a considered an auteur director.
Yeah.
Wise, he did a fantastic job directing, but he directed all kinds of movies, and he didn't
Hmm.
leave a personal stamp on them.
I think he's like his strength comes in big studio productions and handling them well, good sense of scale, kind of a like we can't get John Ford, but I think Wise can handle this. And his early is like his horror output's quite good, even if he doesn't have the stamp with with the Haunting, Curse of the Cat People that we'll talk about more here from this series. But like it, I think he's just a guy who really can plug into the situation and give you a high end output.
Yeah.
Because yeah, I've seen plenty of Robert Wise movies. I still have some, you know, dark, blind spots on him, but the stuff I've seen, like yeah. And then when they go to make Star Trek the motion picture, like who can handle this big grand space opera and, you know, give us like here's Stanley Kubrick. Can you maybe he's a J.J. Abrams of his era, of his time, where you don't really have that stamp, but you're like, can you be a chameleon like and do this?
Yeah.
Maybe that's the Robert Wise in a at a more elite level, but like I'm trying to think what his real stamp would be, but I think he just can handle a major production
Mhm.
um quite well and deliver the things you want from another director um quite there. I don't know.
Yeah, there's something to be said for being reliable and
Hmm.
sensible, and not uh, if you're a director and you have a reputation of being argumentative or
Hmm.
whatever, you're gonna find that your opportunities dry up. I mean, it's so if that is who's easy to work with, that if Robert
Right.
Wise ends up on that list, then he's going to get more work.
Yeah, he might be one of the guys that comes like he's the one of the first transitioned out of your workman directors that come from like doing like four films a year. Like
Mhm.
Michael Curtiz is the king of the workman director, and he does have to me he does have a stamp and
Mhm.
a sort of look of his film. Like he's got which is crazy for how much he's doing back in the day. But I think Wise is maybe the guy that transitioned out of that to become like a workman in a different era. Maybe I don't
Yeah.
know. Maybe I'm talking out my ass, but he's given us big, grandiose things, and he used to be making a film a year on the run, but yeah, but I mean he has like legendary films that we all know,
Yep.
but yeah.
Yep.
True. What is a staple? But there's probably people screaming at us right now, like Robert Wise does this. So we can hear you from the pre-recording.
Put it in the comments.
But yeah, put it in the comments. Berate us. Berate us for that. So yeah. Do you have any further notes or anything on Curse of the
um,
Dead?
I don't think I do. Oh, no, I did just think of something. Oh
All
boy.
right. Oh
Um,
boy.
so there was an early standalone laser disc release of this,
Okay.
which I have a copy of, and then it was, of course, in the big Val Lewton box set
Mm-hmm.
laser discs that came out with all of the movies together. It's been out on DVD and is out on Blu-ray. And if you are a collector, not only is there a VHS release, there is an officially released colorized VHS
Oh,
version for you to hunt down.
wow.
So go hunting.
Wow. Yeah, it looks like it's on Betamax. They have one. Curse of the Cat People on colorized. Okay.
Hmm?
How
I have
much
a
is it?
copy.
Oh, you have a copy.
I do.
Do you still have your laser discs?
Yes, I know I have the box set, and I don't think I discarded any of the early Lewton single releases either.
Gotcha.
I
Oh,
got rid of a bunch when I moved, but I held on. I held on to a lot still.
you can get it for like $7, the colorized one.
Oh wow, there you go.
That's what it looks like. It appear I believe it's colorized. It's from the what's it say? Um, the Nostalgia Merchant. It's been a curse of the cat. Oh, maybe it isn't. I don't know. Okay, maybe it is harder to find, but I do see the color. The cover of this one was color, and they very much trying to make it horror and hide that there's a child in the movie. They got
Uh-huh.
a arena like this on the
Oh
top,
yeah.
and then the couple like Oliver Reed and stuff like just they're holding back like oh no, and it says produced by Val Lewton, directed by Robert Wise. So very interesting.
Other than that little tidbit, I don't think I have anything else. I wanted to
All
show.
right,
I told you earlier I have a one
yeah.
movie poster for Curse of the Cat People.
Yeah, I do know there. They said there were scenes removed from this that made the plot more fluid, but I had no trouble keeping with it.
Oh
But
right, yeah.
those are probably lost forever.
I don't think we missed them.
Yeah, they're probably lost forever. They added a scene there. I forget what it was. I think it was a scene with her playing with the children was added or something. There's something put in there that wasn't present before. That was a reshoot. But yeah. So when we return to this series next month, we'll be discussing The Body Snatcher from 1945, starring Boris Karloff and Bela Lugosi. Very cool. Get the horror royalty in with the new wave of horror. Um, Very cool. This is one that I believe Body Snatcher was when it came out on Blu-ray. I think it was one of the first Scream Factory ones I reviewed. No, it definitely was not because it was 2019. It feels a lot older than that, but I'm silly. Why did I think that came out so long ago? But never mind. I had been reviewing them for 6 or 7 years at the time that it came out. Okay. I thought I did that back when I first started. I'm confusing it with something else, probably. Okay. But anyway, until then, Stephen, where can people keep up with you?
Oh, I'm on Facebook, Stephen W. Hill, and Redbubble. I have many
Yes.
movie title screen shots available on merchandise, including T-shirts. Sell a lot of stickers for some reason, but
People love the stickers. It's
stickers are
crazy. People
cool.
because they trade them, they put them on their they put them on their water bottles, they put them on their laptops, they put 'em- yeah, stickers are it's yeah, they're having a moment.
Yeah.
Just like cauliflower, having a moment.
So I'm
Um
Redbubble as Shill66.
Gotcha. All right. And I'm on the socials at Brandon4KUHD. I also have my YouTube channel where you can watch and look at Stephen and I's lovely faces as we discuss The Curse of the Cat People and other things, as well as my 4K Blu-ray and DVD reviews. Coming up here in a couple weeks, myself and Stephen will be at Long Island for different reasons, or I could be the same reason as Stephen too, for if you want your book signed for
True.
fantastic
Mhm.
celebration of fans discovering Doctor Who. So come out, get your picture with us, get your picture with Steve, or get your picture with Peter Davison. Either way, you win. Also on this on the show, in addition to the summer of 86 and 40 returning, which is ongoing till the end of August. My conversation with Galen Ross from Days of the Dead from recently will be coming soon. There's a process to getting that released, but once it's there, trust me, I'll be shouting to the heavens. It's a great conversation. I can't wait for you to hear it. But so summer of 86 and 40 returns. And till then, stay film positive.
Thank you for listening. The Brandon Peters Show is a Creative Zombie Studios production. Produced by Brad Shoemaker and Brandon Peters. Written and edited by Brandon Peters. Announcer vocals by Jessica Alsman. Theme song by Metavari. Web design and show art by Brad Shoemaker with Brandon Peters. All music and clips featured in the episode are property of their respective studios, and no infringement is intended. Additional information on this and other episodes at BrandonPetersShow.com. For any inquiries, press opportunities, or sponsorship, contact mail at BrandonPetersShow.com. The show is available on Apple Music, Spotify, or anywhere podcasts are found.